Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of ARK, but today we are going to be talking about the upcoming patch 258, which is coming May 30th. So now that the hype for 257's dying down a little bit, you know, been a couple days since then we've had a good opportunity to kind of flirt with it, see what it's got. It's about time we start getting hyped for the next update, and there's a good amount of stuff to be hyped for. Okay, they're not going to be expanding on the ending. The ending of 257 is not the final ending, but they are going to be ending in a bunch of things. That ending is going to be expanded on in a future update though. So 258, like I said, is coming May 30th, and the main things it will include are the harpoon gun, Hyenadon, Hesperornis, MEGATHERIUM MEGALANIA, YUTYRANNUS, 2 new hairstyles, optimizations, and bug fixes. So why don't we go ahead? And dive into the harpoon gun. Heh, tune in today. Dive into the harpoon gun, talk about that a little bit, then we'll talk about what all of these dinosaurs, what you might be expecting out of them. But the harpoon gun, we do not have much info on. It is probably going to be powerful, slow to reload, and a middle tier weapon. I don't really see it being like super high level, but it's also like an underwater thing, so I don't think it's going to be super low level either. I think right in the middle though, right around that level 40, maybe around level 50, I could see people start getting access to this thing. It's most likely going to be usable underwater if it's handheld. But the thing is, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be handheld, because I can actually see them making it a turret that you could put on boats to harpoon / whale the Leadsichus that was added in 256, I think. Because, I mean, that thing's a whale. Whaling's a thing. You kind of use harpoons. I can actually see that happening. Let me know what you guys think about that, what you think about my little theory. But yeah, I don't really know. It could be handheld. It could be a turret, or even better yet, they could make it both, which would be pretty cool. Now, pretty vague harpoon gun aside, why don't we start talking about our first dino / creature of the day, being the Hyenodon, which is a pack hunting carnivore that hunts in packs of 3 to 5. It is going to be found in the mountains and tundras of the island. It is an intelligent hunter because it will only attack if it deems what it's attacking worth it. So it's not going to attack everything. It's going to like assess the situation. Supposedly, we know ARK AI. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It can be good, but it's no Siri, all right? Or Watson, whatever that IBM thing is, right? So that's how it's supposed to work, though. That's going to assess the situation, and if it's worth it, it'll attack. Part of its assessment is going to be seeing if whatever it would consider attacking is injured or weakened or dying. Because those are the things that they're like, okay, boys, we could attack this. This could be pretty solid. And I think that's kind of why it's going to mainly be attacking those animals. Now, it does have a very unique special ability, which is a little bit, it could go one of two ways. One of the ways it's going to be insane. The other way it's going to be okay. So it recovers health and stamina with each bite of meat that it takes. Now, the thing is, they might be talking about living meat. So anytime it attacks something, it'll heal health, kind of like a vampire. It'll be the vampire dino. Or it could be every time it takes a bite of meat off a dead body. Those are the two ways it could go. If it's off the living one though, that's going to be insane because attacking anything is actually going to heal it. Now the reason I think that is because lower or further down in the dossier, it says because of the ability, it's going to be able to survive a lot of punishment, which means it's going to be able to tank a lot. And that means it has to be consistently healing that health. So I think that might be how it works. But speaking of that, it is going to be tameable. Unfortunately, you are not going to be able to ride them. They're too small, but they should have the pack boost from what it's looking like on the dossier, kind of like how the Allosaurus has. I could definitely see it doing like that. If you quote unquote train them well, they're going to potentially level up faster from what the dossier is sounding like. I'm thinking that might be kind of like how the Therizino, with that you can like level up certain parts. There's like a special level up to it or something like that. You know what I'm talking about, like where you go on the wheel, you level up what it gathers better. I think it might be kind of something like that because it says you train them well, which makes me kind of think it might be something like that. But because of the ability, like I mentioned, it's going to be able to survive a lot of punishment. And a suggested thing, and that's actually pretty fierce from what the game, or what the ARK dev said, is that a pack of direwolves, the pack of these, is going to be deadly. Now, I wouldn't think much of this, but in dossiers, they don't usually mention other dinos unless there's something special about them, which makes me think maybe a pack of direwolves and a pack of these guys might even boost each other, like cross boosting between packs. I don't know. I don't know. That's definitely more of a theory. That's a little bit more out there, but that could be really cool if that actually does come true. So next up on the block of stuff to talk about, we have the Hesperornis. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry if I do butcher things. Feel free to berate me in the I'm used to it, dude. I'm used to it. But yeah, we got this thing, which is going to be a medium-sized, described as a half bird, half dino that hunts fish. So it's going to be found in the rivers and lakes of the island, and it's pretty cool. What it can do is that it can glide along the surface of the water. So I've never really heard of something like that, except for the other kind of like the pelican of the sea, or the other one, kind of like this, like that kind of chills on the top of the water. I forget the name, but like the giant bird that sits on the water out at sea. I forget the name. I'm a derp. I'm sorry. But back to the Hesperornis. This thing is going to be slow on land, but pretty fast on water. It's not going to be a threat to land dwellers, really. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be pretty good at hunting fish and small water creatures. It is going to be tameable. Its rideability, I don't know. It's not exactly the most massive thing in the world. From what it's said, it's about 2/3 the size of a human. So I don't know if, like, you know, I mean, technically you can ride stuff smaller than you. It wouldn't be comfortable, but like, I've ridden kiddie bikes, you know, it works. It works. But you're probably not going to be taming him for the potential of mounting him, as weird as that sounds. You're going to be taming him for his very, very, very special ability, because he has special eggs that can be separated into high quality protein and oil. So you're not gonna have, if you have this guy, when he's laying eggs, if you separate the eggs right, whatever the hell that means, maybe there'll be a special thing you have to craft, a special like workbench or something, like something you have to use, I don't know, maybe like a forge. If you use one of those, it's gonna separate into high quality protein and oil. So you don't have to go to the sea anymore to get oil. And this high quality protein, as we know, meat has protein, high quality, makes me think it might be prime. So this might kind of be something like, it might be prime, or better yet, it might even be something like mutton chops, which means that this thing's eggs, whatever it produces, are going to be absolutely amazing for taming carnivores. And that has me super excited, because I'm thinking it might even last longer than your usual stuff that you find out in the wild, which could make this a very, very useful dino creature. Whenever I say dino, I don't always mean dinosaur. I'm just so used to saying dino. I'm so used to getting crap for it. Now, the next dino on this list is the Megatherium, a giant dino, as it's been described as. That's pretty much like a crossbreed between a sloth, an elephant, and a bear. As weird of a combo as that is, that kind of sounds intimidating. In the wild, they are going to be passive, but they have this very weird thing where they get very aggressive towards insects. So it's mainly an omnivore, meaning it can eat meat too, but it's mainly going to be an herbivore. The only time it really utilizes its omnivore is when it's hunting bugs. This thing absolutely loves bugs. Apparently, you're not going to be able to knock it out, or it's going to be super hard to knock out, which makes me think that it might be a passive tame, because if you can't knock it out, I don't know, it's probably going to be pretty hard to tame it the normal way. And it's really good at harvesting chitin, because what it does is it like eats out, it loves hunting bugs. It will somehow eat out all the meat and leave only the shell of the bug, which is kind of the lore reason for it producing so much chitin. So it's usually pretty slow and peaceful, but it becomes fast and aggressive near insects, and it is a super, super useful tame. And given how massive it is, I'm guessing it's probably going to be rideable. Maybe not, but probably, let's be honest. Apparently, it is going to suck at fighting other tribes, probably because of that fact that it's like slow unless there's insects nearby. But that kind of makes me think, and let me know what you think about this little theory here. Since it's only good near insects, what if people are definitely gonna find a way to leave insects nearby so this thing stays powerful. And then it could actually be a pretty useful fighter, but since it says it's bad against fighting other tribes, we know it's slow. Even if it was slow and it was powerful, it'd still be okay. So it's probably not going to be the best fighter in the world, nothing like that. But if someone finds a way to do something with those insects, that could be very, very high potential for some cool stuff. So like I said, it is giant, high resistance to torpor, and it has a pretty mean attitude, if you catch my drift. AKA, it will mess up insects. It absolutely hates them, and it makes them super amazing. And yeah, that high resistance to torpor is pretty interesting because I know some insects do kind of bring down your torpor slowly, like the scorpion comes to mind. So this thing is going to be very, very useful for chitin harvesting. And given how much they're emphasizing the chitin of it, this might honestly be the best chitin harvester on the island, because there are other ones kind of like the saber-tooth that are pretty darn good at harvesting it. But I think this is going to be the king of chitin. Ooh, that's catchy. Dino numero 4, amigos, is the Megalania, an aggressive carnivore and one of the biggest that you can find in caves, about 3 meters long. So for us American plebs, if you will, 9 feet. Go Imperial system. About 9 feet, I think, somewhere around there, maybe 10. And this thing is very unique for its ability to climb walls with its powerful claws. So they do emphasize that powerful claws part, which make me think it's going to be able to produce a pretty good amount of damage. From what it's sounding like, it's probably going to be slow and loud, since in the dossier it says it's not going to sneak up on people, but still it is going to be a very aggressive dino and a very dangerous one because of that. And to add into the fact it can climb literally vertical walls, hashtag Skyrim horse it up in here, and it's so powerful with those claws and the damage it can produce, it has a strong venom to go along with that. This venom is going to affect your health and stamina, slowly lowering it until death or a special antidote, which makes it sound like instead of poison, it's going to sound more like a disease, kind of like swamp fever, which kind of, I like that they're kind of doing something with this, because swamp fever is the only disease in the game. They introduced it, this really cool disease system, did absolutely nothing with it, and now just kind of leeches chill. But with the Megalania, we're gonna have some more diseases up in the world, so wear protection, kids. Anyways, it did mention that special antidote. I'm guessing you're probably gonna have to craft that antidote by gathering venom from it, because that's kind of how most antidotes work. But talking about the venom, it says it'll usually rip its prey apart before the venom kills, which kind of further emphasizes just how deadly this thing's gonna be. And speaking of that, it is going to be tameable, it is going to be rideable, and it's going to be a super useful and sought after mount. Despite the fact that it's not the fastest, not the strongest, or the toughest, its special ability is going to make any tribe want it, because being able to climb cave walls and mountains super easy just makes it ridiculous. And they don't mention it, but this brings the question, if it can climb all of that crap, if it can Skyrim horse its way wherever it wants, maybe it can climb bases. And that is going to be something that we definitely have to keep an eye on, because this could revolutionize raids if they're able to do that, especially since it's going to be looking not like a pushover. It's going to be looking pretty strong. And with that venom, I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited about the Megalania here. And finally, we have the YUTYRANNUS. We talked about this in a dossier den a couple of weeks ago, and I was very excited about this. I'm still very excited. It is going to be an aggressive carnivore related to the Rex, but feathered. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit smaller too, but regardless, it is still a very powerful and a quote-unquote scary dinosaur. So there's a couple of interesting things going for it, one of which is it has the ability to pack hunt with carnos. That's not usually something we see in the wild, so it's going to be pack hunting with a dino that isn't itself. Very cool, very interesting, and even more interesting, that's kind of second special thing, is that it can roar. Not any roar, it has a roar that makes all nearby dinos run. Maybe not only wild ones, this could even make tamed ones run away in fear. And not confirmed, but imagine if it makes mounted ones. If you're on a dino, this thing roars and that dino starts running away, you lose control of it. This, depending on how far they go with the power of this roar, this could be huge. Not only, it's not going to be huge because it's only going to be found in the wild, but it's also going to be tameable, probably mountable. Look at how damn big the thing is, right? It is an amazing attack, defense, and raid dino because of what it can do. Its roar does carry over to being tamed, and that roar can induce fear in opposing creatures. So in wild creatures, in enemy creatures, all that, same thing it does in the wild, it's going to be able to do, which makes me, if you can control this thing and send it and even make mounted dinos run away, this thing is going to be essential for raids. Even more, it says it can be trained, I'm guessing probably by levels, where it has that kind of like special section, you level up, it's what probably the ability of its roar, but it can be trained for its roar to become stronger. it can be trained to make its roar make nearby creatures stronger and resistant to fear. So what this means is this thing really is going to be essential, not because of the potential it has to attack, but because of the fact it's going to protect you from enemy Yutyrannuses with its roar if you train it well, because it's going to prevent your creatures from having that fear induced in them and running away, and it's actually going to make them stronger, which really makes this a super useful, like, general dino of your army. Like, really, it is going to be a necessary must-have dino for any big battles, because you know the enemy's gonna bring it, and if you don't bring it, it's not gonna be fun for you. But that about wraps it up for the overview of patch 258 right now. Hopefully they follow through. It is slated to come out at the end of the month. For those of you on PS4, patch 257 with the Daedon and all that stuff, Diodon, all that should be coming early next week. So about, I'm hearing, like May 15th, somewhere around there. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll definitely be doing videos on that as well. But that is it for patch 258. Let me know what you guys are most excited for out of these 6 main things we talked about. Unless you really, really, really love looking fly as hell with a fresh haircut. Sure, let me know that. But let me know out of those 6 things we talked about: the harpoon gun, Hyenodon, Hesperornis, Megatherium, Megalania, and YUTYRANNUS. Out of those 6, what is your favorite? I want to hear. What are you most excited about? Let me know in the comment section. I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, that Megalania, that venom, that climbing ability, that is going to be so useful. But the YUTYRANNUS, man, that thing is going to revolutionize raids. Both of those are honestly my favorites. I can't pick between the 2. So let me know in the comment section what you guys are most excited for. That's going to do it for me. Hopefully this patch stays true. Hopefully they add more. Probably won't, but hopefully they don't remove any of these from the update. That would suck. But it looks like they're on a pretty good update cycle right now. I'm guessing they're going to try to pretty much update once every 3-4 weeks, which is a good schedule to be on, and hopefully puts us on a fast track to having ARK leave early access. First survival game to do that. Am I right? Right? Am I memeing right with survival games and being stuck in early access? DayZ, what's up in 7 years, bro? Haven't forgotten, dude. I haven't. But shenanigans aside, thank you guys a whole ton for watching. If you guys want more videos like this, let me know. I decided to try it because, I mean, I just saw patch 258 and I'm like, huh. It's actually a good amount of stuff to talk about, and it kind of reminds me of the olden days where I used to talk about all the different dinos that they would announce in, like, the bigger Dossier Den episodes. So I kind of want to start doing this again. So let me know if you guys want to see more. I'm definitely down to do more. But in the meantime, that's going to do it for me. Have yourselves a fan-freaking-tastic day. Cannot wait to talk to you in more ARK videos and more general videos, and also in streams. Make sure you join my Discord. Link will be in the description to chat with me. I'm always chilling there. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitch. I'm going live. I usually go live like Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday as of late. I've actually kind of put together their schedule. As insane as that sounds, but yeah, it's gonna wrap it up for me. Have yourselves a fan-freaking-tastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.